Warning. Everybody Has a Podcast is a comedy podcast. The personalities and opinions expressed in this show are highly exaggerated and don't always reflect reality. If you're easily offended, this may not be the podcast for you.
I watch a lot of Food Network.
Okay. Now, who is the guy that watches a lot of Food Network? Tell me about this guy.
Yeah, voluntarily do you do this?
At first I didn't. At first it was a couple scenarios where I lay down on the couch and turned it on, and maybe it was left on that channel by the wife or whatever, and the remote was just too far. And this is before I got my Xbox One, where I could just shout at my TV like I was like a German soldier shouting at somebody in prison camp. So I'd watch Food Network, and I came across a couple shows, and this is hard for me to admit because I like to frame myself as fairly masculine. There's a show called Chopped. Have you guys seen this show?
I have not, but I've heard of this show. Can you explain it to our listeners who also haven't heard it because they are men?
Sure. Fuck you, fuck you, Betty. Oh, you wait, Ryan. You wait. Your 30s are a bitch.
Billy is easily the manliest one here. That's the irony of all this.
This is hard for me to admit, but you know what? It's the truth. But no, it's basically a show. It's a cooking show, but it's like a game show. So they take 4 accomplished chefs, get them on a show, and they basically all have to prepare an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert for the judges. And after every round, they cut the least favorite dish, basically. So it's kind of like Survivor, where one guy goes away, and then there's 3, and then there's 2, and then there can be only 1. It's like Food Highlander. But anyway, the thing that makes this show interesting to me is they have a basket full of ingredients. They have no idea what it is. And then they reveal it right before they get to cook. And they have like 10 minutes to come up with a concoction based on these basket ingredients. And they can use a lot of other ingredients, but these 3 ingredients have to be present in the dish. So,
can you give me an example of ingredients?
Oh, like sometimes they'll have rose petals and...
What the fuck?
Rose petals, boar meat, and squid, and some kind of weird Southeast Asian fucking curry paste.
So are they trying to fuck their 55-year-old wife on Valentine's Day, or are they trying to make a dish? What are they trying? What, rose petals?
They're trying to make a dish. They cook these things, and they're all accomplished chefs. So it's really interesting to watch because they can turn that shit into something that looks appetizing, which is shocking to me.
Sure.
And it shows a lot of skill, and it gives me a lot of respect for people that are in the culinary industry, to be honest with you. But it started making me think a little bit, right? As I watched this show, like often when you watch a show, sometimes I'll put myself in the in the position of the person on the show. Like, what would I do? Well, I realized I've done this throughout my life quite a bit. Not on a game show or anything, but there's times. Clark just drops his mic.
Yeah, I see that.
There's I would come home after a night out. 3 sheets or whatever, and for whatever reason I couldn't convince somebody to take me to Whataburger, and I was home and I was hungry, so I would go into my kitchen, and this is single me. I'd go into my kitchen and I would have a random assortment of just shit, I would never go to the grocery store and actually buy actual stuff. I bought individual meals when I went.
Cream fraiche.
So I would buy just a bunch of random shit. But when you're drunk and you're wanting to cook, when you're at night, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and your pants around your ankles and you're hungry, you become a fucking chef.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I would prepare omelets. Omelets was my go-to thing. And I would literally just crack 4 eggs. And I know I'm a fat ass, but 4 eggs. I'd blend them up, and I had a magic bullet, not the sex toy, but the actual personal blender. I'd blend them up, throw it into a pan, and I would just literally, anything I could find in the kitchen to go in this omelet, I would put it in there. And the number one thing I always had to have in it was just a lot of cheese, a lot of cheese. But I realized I was like my own little drunk chef, and it occurred to me that we're very clever whenever we've had a few drinks. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, you just think that because you're drunk." But seriously, sober me would have been like, "No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm not gonna eat." But drunk me is like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna fire up the oven.
I'm a man.
I'm gonna work with hot utensils in an unstable environment when I should not be operating.
Turn the stovetop on 9.
Yeah, I shouldn't even be in a motor vehicle, but I'm gonna risk my limbs next to a hot surface. But it's amazing the concoctions I used to be able to come up with, and other people too. Like my roommates were the same way. I was wondering, Ryan, do you have a really good story, and it doesn't have to necessarily be drunk, but drunk makes it funnier, story where you're hungry, you didn't want to go to the store, so you just went in there, scrounged in the kitchen, and just made like a masterpiece or something you really liked?
No, man. The pretty much 90% of the reason I'm fat is because I just eat out too much. My move has always been like, I'm just gonna go to fucking Whataburger. Like, I'm trashed, and I'm gonna be dropping by Whataburger on my way home because I'm obviously not taking a girl home.
So you've never had to cook something but didn't have ingredients, and you just like threw something together? I may be less than a man now. I may just actually just be a cooker, like somebody that enjoys cooking.
No, because a man gets shit done, and you know what? I was not able to provide. I was not able to create something from nothing. You know, you are definitely the man in this scenario, no doubt.
So Clark, how about you? Have you
got one? A good one, I think, is like Pringles chips. Any flavor, whatever floats your boat, but it probably needs to be something like barbecue-y.
Sour cream.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's fine. But you sprinkle some shredded cheese on it, and then you hit the microwave, and you got fucking nachos.
Those things get so soggy and gross in the microwave. I've tried it.
You're doing it wrong.
It's like eating pasta when you're done.
It's like, you're fucking drunk.
It's like,
yeah, it's a good point.
It's like the flaccid man's cock before the Cialis commercial.
I drink I cook really good breakfast whenever I'm drunk. We're talking like breakfast sausages, scrambled eggs, Eggo waffles. It's fucking legit.
But that's kind of my point. Like, how inventive are you when you're in that state? I mean, you literally can't walk a straight line on a road. If a police officer asked you to do the alphabet, you wouldn't be able to do it. But you can go home and whip up something that's just fucking delicious.
Dude, I think I know what you're talking about. Like, people assume, like, because you're drunk, you're just fucked, okay? Now, I am not manly enough to create, but, dude, many, many times I've been in a bar. It's like 1:30, right? Time to fucking start wrapping it up. But I'm blitzed. I literally am able... I'm so fucked up, I pull myself out of the bar, and it's like I'm floating above everyone else, and I'm just observing at this point. And I know I look like an ass, I look like a drunk ass, but dude, I'm so thoughtful. Like, I'm watching people, and I'm like, she's into him, she's going to go home with him for this reason, like, this was a smart move. I purely pull myself out of my body, I'm floating above the bar, and I know everything that's going on, and it's weird. I know I'm probably drooling and have a boner in reality, but like, dude... I am a fucking god at that point. I think I know what you're talking about because I do get more insightful inside my head. Like, even though I'm slow on the outside, like, my brain is working 1,000,000 miles an hour. Does that sound similar?
No, I agree. I think it's like you achieve this extra level of consciousness. Like, it's like as soon as your body goes full, drunk mode and you lose cognitive ability to operate it, it's like your brain is just like, you know what, screw it. I'm not even going to worry about it. You're on your own with this. But it's like you get this weird, like, I don't know, this ability to create and be creative. I also think like musicians that often won't go on stage without a drink or without, maybe smoking a joint or something. I think there's something to be said about that it kind of opens up. Because Ryan, you're 100% right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That ability to just basically separate yourself. Because if I went into the kitchen right now and tried to make what I make drunk, it just wouldn't taste as good. Like, and it may just be because I eat it when I'm drunk and everything tastes good. But I'm fairly certain I could not cook as well stone sober as I do whenever I've had a few.
Part of what you never had is gone and can't be taken back. Maybe you and I